Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Sahara Omar. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist practicing here in the state of Texas. And today's video, I wanted to share with you guys the 4 different communication styles that we recognize in therapy, identify which ones are dysfunctional, and hopefully lead you guys to choose to be a little bit more assertive with how you are communicating, and especially when you are in relationships, whether it's platonic relationship, romantic relationship, or even familial relationship. Okay, so we recognize there are 4 different types of communication styles. 3 of them is considered dysfunctional or not healthy, and the one that we ultimately seek to achieve as humans is being assertive. Okay, so we'll start with first the style passive. Passive individuals who are very passive typically are very soft with their communication, a lot of a soft voice, uncertainty, a lot of I don't know, I'm not sure, a lot of apologizing language, right? Like very, I'm sorry, that's not what I meant to say, or I really don't mean to, I'm really so sorry, right? Like over apologetic in that way. It is okay to be apologetic when we do something wrong, but not excessively, okay? Poor eye contact. Typically when people are passive with their communication, they will not look to you in the eyes. It's too overwhelming internally. And at times they're very easily agreeable, right? Like, so they agree with other very often, and so sometimes even when they don't actually agree, they will just say yes, right? So with passiveness, the best way I look at examples of people who are passive, they're very walking on eggshells, right? Like there's this sense of I don't want to stand up for myself because it's not safe to stand up for myself growing up. Okay, the reason why we don't want to be passive, if we stay passive, we miss out on opportunities, we miss out on self-advocate, standing up for what we think and what we want and what we believe. Typically, if we continue being passive, majority of our life, later in life, we look back and we have a lot of regret. We go into a state of, I wish I stood up for myself, I wish I would have said something here. That's the downfall of being passive, okay? Then another style that we have is called passive aggressive. It's a combination of passive and the aggressive part. Passive aggressive people are very sarcastic. They use a lot of sarcasm, backhanded compliments, saying things when they don't mean to, or meaning something. There's a hidden meaning in certain things that they make comments on. Because they're so sarcastic and people don't like the sarcasm, sometimes they will give you the silence treatment, so moving away and not saying much, like ghosting people. That's a passive aggressive behavior. Acting like the person does not exist in the house, or just walking around with the silence treatment. That's passive aggressive style of communication. And then procrastination, or the intentional mistakes, right? So sometimes not taking ownership to things, not saying, you know what, I'm going to do this because I made the decision, and following through, right? So sometimes intentionally just causing chaos at times, waiting until last minute to get things done, or not taking full ownership. Sometimes people would say like even like fake smiles is a passive aggressive, that weird smile that people give because they are not agreeing with you, right? So the best way I look at passive aggressive communicators, there's hot and cold in them, right? Like they say, yeah, let's meet up at dinner for 6 o'clock. Right when the 6 o'clock is about to come, they will, instead of saying like, you know, you're right, I should have been ready by 6, they will say things like, you're the one who picked up 6 o'clock and why do I have to do it, right? They say one thing when they mean something else. So there's a hidden meaning usually with passive aggressive, okay? And then with aggressive people, it's totally the opposite of passive. They're very loud and harsh tone. They're typically bold and in your face. Sometimes they might describe themselves as being direct. They like to frequently interrupt when people are talking, cutting people off, speaking over people, dominating the conversation. Sometimes they say hurtful things and hurtful statements, saying things like, that's why your mom never liked you, or that you're just like your dad. That's very aggressive statements, okay? Sometimes pointing or dominating body language, right? So very much so like speaking with our hands and yelling and just exerting power in that way. It is very aggressive. I'm very well aware sometimes culture can influence this too. Some cultures, aggressive communication style is respected or looked up on, right? But it still is dysfunctional. We don't need to exert that much level of power over people. We can be a little bit more calmer and more assertive, right? So that's the goal, which is the next one. Assertive people, they're calm, but then they're very confident in their tone. They tell you what they mean and they mean what they say. There's no ambiguity, there's no second guessing. Very much so, good eye contact, open body language. They're not flaring their hands back and forth, they're not yelling, there's no sense of like I'm taking over the conversation. They listen a lot. There's a lot more active listening. You feel safer when you're dealing with someone who's assertive because you feel like your voice is respected, your opinion is honored, you are respected as a human being overall. Okay, so all the other three are very dysfunctional: the passive, passive aggressive, and aggressive. The goal is to learn how to be assertive. The more you become assertive, the more you become secure within yourself, the more you only tolerate and communicate with people who are also assertive. I'm not sure if you guys noticing the pattern with attachment styles. Assertive people are very secure. Aggressive people are very anxious. It's their way or the highway. Passive people are very avoidant. They kind of pull back. Passive aggressive people are your disorganized attachment, the hot and cold personalities, where people are going in and out, up and down with their emotions in that way. Okay. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, feel free to hit that thumbs up. Also, leave a comment below and feel free to share the video with others as well. I'll see you guys in the next video.